let's dive in. Marcel, why don't you share with us kind of what you took away from last week and where you are in your process of overcoming your goal or challenge?
Okay, this will be kind of raw because I don't have it in my notes here, but the biggest things that I took from the hot seat, one that stood out was reviews. Josh had a very, powerful and strong review that he felt compelled to give, and it was nice to hear these things. It's always nice to hear someone's positive feedback on what you're doing for them and how you've helped them. So and I've also realized based on the feedback from others and the way that I typically interact with some businesses that reviews is a huge, let's say, social proof or selling point for me to take advantage of something or one business over another business is how many reviews do they have, what the reviews say, what other people are experiencing the same thing that I'm looking to experience. So I've been looking into some different ways to add reviews to my site without having to get too heavy into coding and just making sure that I can pull reviews from Yelp and Yahoo and Google and all these other platforms into one place versus having to manually do it. So I have a solution that I'm thinking of using. Uh, so that's one of the biggest things. Number one is getting the reviews up there, getting more social proof, and then updating my social media so that uh, people can also see that there's constantly content being put out. One of the challenges that I've been having is in the mix of all the things that I'm doing, it's been difficult to put as much love into my business social media that I want. So, for example, I don't want to just post just projects that we're working on. I also want to have like a whole social media strategy in terms of giving tips or tricks and giving value to people, things that people can pull from to help them with their business. So it's more of like a success or from a success standpoint, from a graphic design standpoint, how people can be more successful with their business and help them. So that's something that I'm working on, getting a plan for and being able to consistently post and do things with that or hire the remote worker to help me with that if needed. Um, Another thing is having that lower tier pricing launched. As I said, kind of discussed that there are a lot of people who need one-offs or smaller projects that don't necessarily need unlimited projects and don't necessarily know. There's a lot of people who don't understand graphic design and what goes into it. And if you hit them with, it's this price, although you say unlimited, they don't really know what they need. They don't know that they only need 5 or 6 or 12 things. So it's hard for them to like visually price that out and see the value. Even though it's a great deal, it's hard for them to see that. So launching that individual uh tier pricing so that people can kind of like get their feet wet. They can get the little designs that they need. And then if they want something more, they can always upgrade or renew their subscription at that lower tier price that's just at what they need, that meets them at their budget. So that's another thing that I'm going to be launching within the next week. And another challenge that I've been having is also kind of converting things to Colombia. So since I'm primarily here, it's like figuring out what pricing I can charge here in Colombia versus in the United States, because our pricing is definitely way too much for someone for Colombia to afford. So I've been trying to figure out the best way to, let's say, convert my prices so that I'm not devaluing myself and devaluing everything that I do. And Sabrina, to answer one of your questions, I thought about like, uh, what is one of the things that people are getting with my company versus other companies? And I thought of a very simple answer. They're getting me, like my experience, my background, the one-on-one help that I'm able to give them. They're not just straight up getting a Filipino or, third world, let's say, worker that they don't have the same experience I have. They don't have the same go-getter, attitude and willingness to help and giving things. So I'm willing to come in as a business owner and help guide people to where they need to be. And I have more than enough skill sets and network to do so. So that's something that I thought about. And I was like, I'm a pretty good selling point. You're not just getting like a third-party designer that's just gonna handle your project. You're also getting a pretty badass creative director that has over 20 years experience. So,
That
that's yeah.
creative
All right.
director, that's your buzzword right there. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, Marcel. Let's go into some questions and give that 3 to 5 minutes and then 5 minutes of feedback. So my first question, and if you've got a question in hand, my first question is, what can we help with? What can we give advice on?
What can you help with and give advice on?
Hmm.
Um, I'd say the biggest thing of value would be to maybe look at my website and the process that you're able to see from a new client perspective and poke holes in it. So, what is something that you see or don't see that would, let's say, compel you or turn your way to choosing another business over mine or someone else over me? Like, just take a look at what you can see in front of you and find something wrong with it. Search for something that is a problem, or and point it out.
All right, cool. Sabrina's got a question. Sabrina.
As I put myself on mute. I think in terms of your social media, I think you don't overthink it, because you only need 1 day a week from what I've learned in social media courses and refreshers. If you created a day where people anticipated new content, they'll that 1 time a week scheduling, or that scheduling of your week 1 time during the week, will make your life a lot easier. I think you have a lot of ability to use photos and Canva. So that is, I mean, that's half the job. I don't think you should think about your socials the way you would of a client's graphics. I think Canva is the perfect app, and you have the content to just slide right in, and then just schedule everything once a week, maybe on a Sunday night, schedule it for whatever day you want it to drop, and just be done with it. Or you can even schedule 2 weeks in advance to make your life easier. You can do fillers like place cards instead of real work, and do all of your questions, Q&As, because you want feedback from your followers, right? So you can do content that will create Q&As that could get you new clients, just being creative with that. But I don't think you should worry about, that's like 2 hours once a week, or 1 hour you can dedicate to uploading 2 weeks worth of content. And and I think if you use your team members that you're subcontracting or contracting out to do work, they can include work to yours because they're part of your team. So it's not you just creating all this content. Hey, I need something that represents XYZ. Have them send you 3 pieces, and then you can cross-pollinate by tagging them. And so people know you're working with them. They're vice versa. You can even have it where they're collaborators on Instagram. So that means everything that you write and collaborate with them is on their website, right? So it's just, don't overthink it. It's really easy. Here I say to myself that when I haven't posted in days, weeks. However, that's not my selling point. That's yours. You can use that. And then in terms of the testimonial reviews, I think if you had a landing page on your website or a tab that just said reviews and testimonials, you can cut and paste people's reviews right there. You don't have to worry about the Google reviews because people can read them. I prefer to read. I don't want to do too much research. I would prefer to read that person's thing right on site. And that's it.
All right. Anyone else have feedback from Marcel? Marcel, I think one of my pieces of feedback, I like how the testimonials stuck with you. I do think that's valuable. I think it would be cool if I saw the testimonials like on your landing page. I think there's a lot of value in that. I also agree that on social media you should be there more consistently. Like if you're selling a service that's unlimited, design for your social medias, in my opinion, someone would look at your page and be like, why isn't he doing this himself? I know I have done that. So, which it sounds like you're already onto this, but my advice would be to, whatever service you're providing someone else, do it for yourself first. And of course, maybe that takes bringing in one client, in order to facilitate the overhead required to do that. And if that's the case, then do some closures. I think like if you're going to be reading that book on negotiating again, go out and practice, call on people who were once potentially in your pipeline and just start to close, and then you'll get somebody and you'll be able to kickstart your social media services and leverage that overhead. Who else has feedback from Marcel? We got 5 minutes. All right, so bring your hand's still up, so rock on.
I didn't know. I'm an old lady, guys, at this thing. Marcel, I also think, do you have on your website, I haven't taken a look lately, but is there something about your creative directing experience with Cirque du Soleil?
Not on that website, no.
Put that shit on there. That is a major, major, major company and performance production that you should let people know, because you are the creative director. So why me? Like, there may be a page that says, why me? Right? And then boom, make it photo driven. Like if you look at Beyonce.com, it's like a Tumblr where it's nothing but production, right? That's all you need. You don't even have to speak. Let your works, visuals speak for you. Like a page that says, why me? Or why us? But really, like you said, you are the company. So I want to see visuals. Like, I'm visual driven. You could talk all you want to me. I'm a publicist. I spin words. I don't believe half the things that I read on people's website, but testimonials and visuals tell me that, oh, this shit is real. So that Cirque du Soleil, that is major. You better use that to your advantage. The fact that your creative director there can tell anybody that you can direct anything from performance to corporate to, major corporations in terms of non-traditional, because I consider Cirque du Soleil like in the arts and theater, but you have categories that you can put this all in, right? So think of that, like you just said it best. People need to buy into what you're doing because of you. So show us that. And that's it.
All right, guys, we got 3 minutes to give Marcel some feedback. Katrina, Yaroslava, you got any thoughts? Marcel, one thing I would suggest, it's easy to overlook, and I just sent your video off to the rest of the group who wasn't able to make it today. But it's easy to overlook the advice on the hot seat. So my suggestion, since I just sent you the link, would be to do what I'm doing after this at some point today. Just go for a walk, do whatever you got to do, and habit stack and put the hot seat in that, and see what else you've got for advice, specifically on these few items that you're looking for support with. What else? Who's got advice for Marcel?
I haven't been here, so I'm not aware of what we're talking about. But as I understand, we're talking about the graphic design. Like, I'm just trying to imagine myself choosing a guy who would do that for me if I would need one. And for me, I would definitely look at the Google or Yelp reviews, and I would definitely want to see some of his previous work that he have done. I think just like Sabrina said, I would like to see, I like when the work talks for itself rather than reading a lot of things. I'd like to see what have been done, what this person have done. That would make me choose. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not aware too much of what we're talking about.
I'm gonna add in one more thought. We got like 30 seconds. If you guys want to give any more insight or advice to Marcel, Marcel, I just went on your website, and the first thing I clicked on was the bar in the top right corner. And then, so this is a user experience, right? And then I clicked into properties, and I see short and long-term rentals. And as I was going through here, I was like, rental payments, maintenance covered. And I was just like, what? I didn't know. Then I saw the professional cleaning service. And I was thinking in my head, like, am I on the wrong website? So just so you know, a piece of advice: when I look up Creative Air Consulting, where it brought me based on how I used the website was to this rental page. So just something to keep in mind. I love the visuals, man. You can tell you're super talented to keep those visuals going. Anyone else have advice for Marcel before we bring in our guest speaker? All right. What are you saying, Sabrina?
I'm sorry. Take that down, Marcel. Don't have rental properties and all that with your creative stuff. That's my advice. Put that in an entire another section and call that anything that you want to call it, but don't put that with it. No. Unless they can do something creatively in the rental, but not the cleaning part and not the leasing. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're confusing your market. If people are coming on to look at you for creative, they're going to be like, what is this? This guy is doing it too much. So, I mean, that's what I would think, not everybody. So I would think house those two places, two different places. Maybe if you had something where it said, you're for more, other, maybe a tab on the website that people, for more about Marcel Incorporated or whatever, boom, they can click another link to a whole nother website. But just take that business tab off, that type of style business, in my advice. I'm not, I'm not your boss. And
All
I
right.
ain't your mama.
All right, time is up. Thank you for jumping in, Sabrina, and thank you for your advice, everybody. What do you say, Marcel?